now, Carl. Hello. Welcome to Chicken Happy Hour at Cedarwoods Farm. We are so excited to be here with you on this Sunday, August 2nd. Happy August. We hope you are well, and yeah, we're just really excited about this drink. And I came up here like 2 hours ago to do this, and Carl was laying an egg, and so she finally laid it, and it was so worth it because it's a beautiful, juicy egg. But I was kind of ready to get the show on the road, so we're a little delayed. We are going to make probably my all-time favorite cocktail. I know it's from my all-time favorite place, which is New Orleans. And so we are going to make a Sazarac, and we're going to talk a little bit about absinthe because it is quite controversial. So anyway, there's the thing, and then I want to show you or give you a little update on the pigeons because there are some progressions in things with that. So we will say goodbye to Carl. I'll put, oh, okay, wait. Carl. I will put Carl. Why don't you go there? Oh my gosh, what is happening? There's a little drama going on today. All right, go on. Okay, so this drink originated, like I said, in New Orleans in the 1850s, and New Orleans is considered the place where it was created. There's actually bars in New Orleans called Absinthe bars. So yeah, there's that. But the crazy thing about this drink, Sazerac, is not the rye whiskey. It's not the bitters. The crazy thing is the absinthe, right? So let me tell you a little bit about absinthe, and I'll try to make it brief and not boring, but it is crazy cool. So this spirit was illegal in the U.S. You couldn't get it until 2007. It was banned and made illegal in the U.S. and much of Europe in 1915. And so it's just been the last 13 years that you could even buy it, which is interesting. Okay, stop. Because it's a botanical, I mean, it's made from 3 plants. The plants are anise, sweet or green anise, which is where it gets its color, sweet fennel, and wormwood. Also known as Artemisia absinthica, I think. So Artemisia, if you recall from your high school days of Greek literature, Artemis, the Greek goddess, that's what this is named after. And wormwood has been used to treat everything from pinworms to like digestive issues since ancient Egypt. And you know, here it is. You can still grow it in your yard. All right, get back. No! But that is, oh my gosh, that is the main ingredient of this drink. So it's just, to me, it's just kind of crazy. Oh my gosh, everything's kind of going to Carl. So anyway, it is crazy to me that that it is made out of plants. And Carl, all right. But it was banned for, you know, almost a century. So anyway, oh my gosh, these chickens are freaking me out. Quit. So, so here's what you need for this drink. I think this is going down as a blooper. Stop. You need rye whiskey. You need Angostura bitters, and you need Peychaud's bitters, which I don't have, so I'm just using an old-fashioned aromatic Fee Brothers. It's, you know, I don't know about these bitters. You can get too torn up, I think, about the bitters, but you know I do like the bitters. And then you need absinthe, which we are only using a splash. You only use enough to lightly, oh good Lord, perfume your glass. I don't know that I'll be drinking this. And then you need an orange peel or a lemon peel. I think lemon is the more traditional. I didn't have any, so we're doing orange. Okay? Oh, my word. All right. So, what else? There was so much I wanted to tell you about absinthe. So, it's called a spirit because it is bottled without sugar. And that's the difference in a liqueur and a spirit, is that spirits are bottled without sugar. And this is wormwood is very bitter, and it is. I mean, absinthe is pretty bitter, which is why we're going to use a sugar cube in this cocktail recipe. Couple other things. I wanted to talk about why it was banned. So, like I said, wormwood goes back to ancient Egypt, but the person that developed absinthe was actually a doctor in Switzerland, and of course it was used medicinally, like in the late 1700s. Well, fast forward to the late 1800s, early 1900s, and France, and you've got all these artists, people like Van Gogh, Picasso, writers like Hemingway, Edgar Allan Poe, Oscar Wilde, just to name a few. And you know, there's this whole artist, writer, kind of bohemian party scene, if you can imagine. And I mean, they were drinking everything and doing, I don't know what drugs were available then, but I think they were pretty much doing it, and that was much of their muse, probably, for a lot of their work. So anyway, enter absinthe into that picture, and you can see how it very quickly got a sort of bad reputation as being this highly addictive, you know, dangerous alcohol that was almost like a psycho, what's the word? Well, I guess it made you psycho, and it made you have hallucinations. That's the big thing with absinthe. In fact, in historical literature, it's called La Fée Verte, which means the green fairy, because supposedly, if you drink enough of it, you would see a green fairy. So, which I'm sure with any alcohol, if you did that, you would probably see things. In France at this time, they called 5 o'clock happy hour. They called it the green hour because everybody was drinking absinthe. So it, like I said, it got a bit of well, more than a bit. It got a huge bad rap. And I think there was a bit of a smear campaign too. I don't know if it was you know, who knows? It could have been political, whatever. But and I'm sure it was a different thing than what it is now, which you can get, you know, that's legal since 2007. So it may have had some sort of hallucinogen in it, or psychoactive drug back in the late 1800s. Who, I mean, I don't know. But it does not now. In fact, now it's 50% alcohol, which is, you know, this is 45, so that's not that big a deal. So, and as little amount as we're going to use, like I figure this will last me probably the rest of my life, because this is not something that I drink that much. I would say I've had fewer than 10 in my life, most of them in New Orleans, I'm proud to say. So, and in fact, the last one I had was in New Orleans at Brennan's, the world iconic restaurant. Well, I say that's not counting the one I had last week when my sister was visiting, because we had shrimp étouffée, and I mean, you got to have a Sazarac if you're making that. But before that, the last time was in New Orleans. Best food ever. If you enjoy Cajun food, Creole, the recipe I'm talking about actually came from, the site is NOLA, N-O-L-A, cuisine.com. And she put this recipe, I don't know the person, but she put the shrimp étouffée recipe up in 2006. And I discovered it not too long after that, and I have used it ever since. It's the best étouffée recipe that I've ever done. So I highly encourage you to check that out. Let's see, I talked about wormwood. That may be all we need to talk about. Maybe we can actually make this drink. So if you like black licorice, if you're from Britain, licorice here in the U.S., then I think you will enjoy this drink. You'll like absinthe. This drink is basically an old-fashioned, only we're going to rinse the glass with absinthe first. Okay, so it's a little extra prop, but it really does change the drink. It makes it so good. Something else I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to buy us some so we can do it on the show. The way this used to be enjoyed, like back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, where there were these special glasses, and they had little divots in the top for a flat slotted spoon, right, to set on top of. You would put your sugar cube on top of that, and then you would drip cold, very cold water over that to melt the sugar into the drink. And that's the way they drink it. And they had all kinds of props. Besides the glasses and the spoons, there were like absinthe fountains that you would fill with cold water, icy water, that would be sitting on the tables. And like I've seen pictures, posters of people sitting around, and there's all their glasses of absinthe under these spigots. And, you know, the water would be slowly dripping. So that's the traditional French method for drinking absinthe. So, and you can get, I've looked like on Amazon, you can get them, but I really I want to hold out and get like some vintage absinthe glasses and the spoons. So, well, I don't know, I may be waiting forever for that, but that's my plan. Oh, and then the bohemian way would be to soak your sugar cube, probably in absinthe, and then set it on fire. When it's, you know, you put it on the slotted spoon, you set it on fire, and then you let that dump into your absinthe, which then sets the whole drink ablaze, and then you douse it with a shot of cold water. So, kind of gimmicky, I think. That would probably ruin the taste of the absinthe, and no doubt be a fire hazard. But anyway, that's one. I don't know. I think that came later, and they tried to say, oh yeah, that's the bohemian way. I don't believe it. All right, here's what you want to do. Sugar cube in your mixing glass. We are going to do 2 dashes of both bitters. I'm getting more confident about this dash stuff. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not, but I'm just doing it. Huh, I did 3 of that one. All right, and then you want to muddle that. I never know which end is up. I don't guess it matters. All right, so you want to muddle your sugar cube. See, that already just smells divine. You can't go wrong with orange bitters. Okay. Now we want to put in, the recipe calls for 2 ounces of rye whiskey. You can also use bourbon if you want a kinder, gentler Sazerac, but why would you? I'm going to do a Frida, which is 4 ounces. And so you're going to add that to your mixing glass. Okay. Now, the most important part, you're going to take your absinthe. You are going to, I'm just hoping this is clean. You're going to add a splash. I mean, literally, that's probably way more than I need, but. And now what you want to do is roll the glass so that you're just getting it on the sides. This is basically just to perfume your glass. We're not even really drinking absinthe here. And again, not that it's that potent now, but it is very bitter. It's very, I mean, it smells good. Again, if you like black licorice, then you'll like this. But it's more about just perfuming your glass. And you just want to discard this now. I'm putting it in here because I know if I throw it on the ground, a chicken will try to drink it, and then that won't be good. All right, so I've got my muddly sugar, right? So now I'm going to pour out all the water that's in my ice. And then I'm going to pour some ice into my glass, not too much, because you want to stir this now. All right, don't eat that. Dang, chickens are eating wormwood. Okay, so you're gonna just give that a stir. This is not a drink to be shaken. But just until you feel good that it's cold. And no, wait, is that, yeah, that's what I want to do. All right, so remember, this is the glass. Oh, I still see a drop of absinthe in there, and kind of getting it everywhere, but that is okay. And then a bit of orange, and oh my goodness, doesn't that look nice? Sazerac. Yeah. Oh, the green fairy. Yep, it's still my favorite. It's a tiny little drink, and you know what? When you buy these out, this will cost anywhere between 10 and 20 bucks for that much. I was in California once at a you know, really nice restaurant, and these were $18. And I was like, seriously? I mean, it didn't keep me from having two, but that's a lot. You know, considering that, I don't know, I gave maybe 20 bucks for this. And it's really cool how it was, you know, illegal in the US and most of Europe for almost a century. And now, I mean, it's still not, there's not like a whole wall of absinthe when you go to the liquor store, but Total Wines had a whole shelf of different kinds of anise and absinthe. So yeah, it's back since 2007. So good. If you like whiskey, you will like Dancing with the Green Fairy. Let me make sure there's nothing else that I wanted to share with you. I've been looking at this for so long that I almost freaked myself out about doing the show. I finally was just like, okay, you just need to go do it, because I was like, ooh, I want to share this. I want to tell them about that. And, you know, it gets to a point where you can't tell everything. You just need to make the drink and move on to the next one. Which, the next one is called a Backyard Romeo. And I am going to make this drink in honor of the raccoons and possum that are apparently, let me get this wormwood. Carl, get off that. That are apparently stalking our farm. We have been, you know, I told you about Carl last week, how Bob kind of, we thought, saved the family. And then we did some work on the, you know, covering the holes and making sure that everything was secure. Well, the next day we live trapped a raccoon, and there were paw prints in the water. So basically they, you know, however many, who knows, could have been a dozen raccoons, were getting in somehow, because we always set the emu food inside so that the woodland creatures don't get it on the outside. Well, apparently they were coming in on the inside, washing it in the chicken's water dish, and like having a buffet. So this week alone we have caught 3 raccoons and 1 possum. And like I said, we live trap and then relocate. But I mean, who knows? Because we're just in the middle of the woods. So I don't know that you ever win that battle. But my concern is that, you know, if the food runs out or they decide, nah, we don't really like this food anymore, then they're going to turn to the chickens and the baby pea chicks and whatever. So I guess we've been really lucky not to have had that happen. So today, a layer of electric wire got put up around the top of the aviary. And we've done a lot of other work. I like to say we when I talk about all the work. But, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. We're just going to keep setting the trap. And if we catch a raccoon every day for 10 years, then so be it. We will cart them out. Okay, let me show you a little something special. It's pretty sweet. So you know we have these pigeons. Trying to do